Hi everyone, it's Laurie. So I wanted to hop on kind of quickly this morning and show you all a project, a little bit of a project that I've been working on for the past couple of months. Like most of you, I kind of keep track of tarot spreads and things like that. I like to use them sometimes. Sometimes I don't, but I've tried a variety of ways and I haven't been happy with any of them yet. So I tried using a bullet journal. I tried printing a lot of them off the internet and then comb binding them into a booklet of my own. I've made a Pinterest board. None of them have felt really kind of usable and cohesive and like I could organize them in a way that made sense for me or that was useful for me. I'm a very practical person. I like things to be useful. So I kind of was just chatting with my family and I said, oh, wouldn't it be, great if I could come up with some kind of a way to organize tarot spreads? And then I thought, a little bit like the way you do with recipes. You can, put recipes down in a recipe box and you copy it from somewhere and put it into a recipe box, and then you can just kind of file them away, and when you need it you pull out your whatever chicken recipe for this, or banana bread recipe, whatever it is. And then that was kind of what got me thinking about using note cards. So this is kind of what I've been working on. I don't know if this is my forever way of organizing tarot spreads or not. This is just what I've been working on lately, and I thought I would share it with you. So one of the things that I did was I went to the local office supply store and I bought a package, darn it, and I do have another whole package upstairs I was going to show you, of colored large size. I think these are 4x6, yeah, index cards. I kind of liked the fact that there were a variety of colors. I love color. So then the next thing that I did is I got my little pencil box out where I keep my pens. I happen to keep my pens in this is a Bonefire Tarot box, and it's my daughter's Bonefire Tarot, and she didn't need the box and she gave it to me. And in here I have my pens that I like to write with, and then I have some highlighters that I like that don't bleed through paper. These are Sharpie liquid highlighters. But I keep them all in one place, basically so that my family can't get them, because I have 3 kids and a husband, and if I keep pens in the pen drawer that we have in the dining room, they'll disappear. So I keep my own pens in my own little box, and then I know where they are. So then the next thing, okay, let me show you basically how I go about doing this. So, for instance, excuse me, I'm having a little drink of my... let me tell you what I'm drinking this morning, because it's kind of interesting. I have a friend in France who told me about this a long time ago. The way she talked about it, it sounds as though all the people in France drink this in the morning. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but my particular friend who lives in France, this is what she's done for years and years, and it's an alkalinizing hot drink, and it is mineral water. I drink San Pellegrino, that's what we can get here in the US. And then I put a quarter of either a lime or, can you see that? A lime or a lemon. This morning it's a lime. Squeeze that in, and sometimes I'll drink it cold in the winter, or anytime. I mean, today it's summer and I'm drinking it hot. And I heat this up in the microwave and I drink it. And it's a really nice beverage alternative to tea or coffee that kind of helps to alkalinize the body, really bring the whole body into balance. And I find like I crave this when my body is starting to get too acidic. So I don't know, maybe that's interesting for some of you, maybe not. And if any of you are French, I would be interested in knowing if this is indeed a French thing or if it's just my particular friend's French thing that she does. Anyway, so let me give you an example. Let's say you come across a spread on Instagram. So this is Lego Bird, who is right now hosting the Grab Your Cards and Spread 'em challenge. I'm not participating in the challenge this month, but I wanted to keep track of any interesting spreads that kind of came across my Instagram feed. And so here, day 10, is she's showing a strength spread, which has 4 cards in it. The way this works is then you swipe, and then she tells you the details about the spread and the questions for each of the cards. So what I would do then is I'm going to copy this onto a note card. Now on the top of my little box, I've put a post-it note here where I'm keeping track of what I've roughly assigned each of the colors to. So for instance, blue I'm using for what I would define as spiritual type spreads. red for relationships, G for general or interview spreads. I started using G for like manifestation, money, career, and that kind of thing. And then I found that there aren't really enough of those. I'm not coming across enough of those to kind of warrant their own category. Orange are self-improvement spreads, which would be different from spiritual spreads. They're kind of relating to not just our own internal spiritual things, but also communicating with spirit, mediumship, past life, that type of thing. That's what I'm calling spiritual. What I'm calling self-improvement are the types of spreads that might have to do with maybe mindfulness or psychology, inner child work. I mean, I know these categories that I'm using are a little bit, no, they're quite subjective. They're quite subjective, so naturally you could use your own categories. You could conceivably create 10 categories. I'll talk about the idea I had for that. Yellow I'm using for seasonal spreads, so Wheel of the Year, holidays, moons, that type of thing. So I just kind of check on here. If you have, say, more than 5 topics, more than 5 categories that you would like to put your tarot spreads into, I don't see why you couldn't just buy cards without the colors and then use perhaps a highlighter to, you know, draw a couple lines across the top of the card. You could have as many categories as you have colored markers. That's also possible too, although you would definitely, I think, want to mark it somehow on the card so when you pulled it out you knew where to put it back. But okay, so that's one more idea that I had as far as if you had a lot of categories that you wanted to use, more than just putting them into the 5 that I'm currently putting mine in. Strength spread. Now to me, a strength spread would probably be, let me look at the questions, your greatest strength. I'm gonna call that a self-improvement spread. So I would pick one of my orange cards, and then then I just write at the top what it is. I have very, very poor handwriting. And then I'm making little notes for myself about how many cards each spread uses. So this uses conceivably 4 tarot cards, so I write a T. If it uses oracle cards, I'll write an O, and then the number 4. And I'm going to now, if I can figure out how to do it in the editing, speed up this whole process in here, because the next thing that I do is turn the card over and draw. Okay, you can see I'm not very tidy, and I also like to note where I got this spread from. So this, I'm going to say it's from Lego Bird on Instagram. Then I'm going to swipe and I'm going to write down what the questions are, and hopefully I'll be able to speed through this as well. Okay, so the next I've just simply written down what the questions are. If there are 5 or 6, I can usually skip spaces between the lines. If there aren't, if it's a 9 or 10 card spread, I will not skip spaces, and I'll try to write a little bit smaller. This is a fairly large nib pen. I'll use a smaller nibbed pen. That's basically what I do, and then I put it into a pile of completed spreads. Okay, is I like to add a bit of color, so I will pull out some of my highlighters, and I don't know, I always end up doing them sort of slightly rainbowy colors. And then I'm organizing them. So this one, now that it's finished, will go in the orange category right here. So this is what I've done so far. It's taken me several weeks to do it. For instance, here we have a fortune-telling day spread. And this is from Tally Goodwin. And I believe I saw this on the internet, but it may have been out of a book. I've gotten my spreads. Sometimes there's a really unique or interesting spread in the back of a little white book, or in a book of tarot spreads, like large books of tarot spreads. It might be something I've seen on a YouTube video or in Instagram, on a blog, wherever it is. In this case, this is reading pairs of cards for 9 aspects of the day ahead. It uses 9 tarot cards, but it actually uses 9 times 2 tarot cards. There are 9, oh, I'm sorry, I can't hold that with that hand, 9 positions, which I've marked with color. And then on the back, this is the spread of all 9 positions, and the author suggests using 2 for clarification. I believe the second card at each position is a clarifier. I don't think it's a shadow card. I think it's a clarifier, if I'm remembering correctly. So that would probably be something I'd want to note if it was a shadow card or a clarifier or whatever. So that's kind of what they look like when they're finished. And as I said, I try to note where I get them from. Now, I haven't decided how I'm going to keep them all yet. When I started, I thought I might put a little punch in the corner of each card and put a ring through it and keep them on a ring. I'm not sure if I'll do that, or if I'll go ahead and buy a file box like one might use for recipes, which would enable me to use dividers for each of them. That's yeah, that's the project that I've been doing. And what I like about it is if there's something that I need to change, I don't have to change all the pages in a book. I don't have to change an index. I'm not sure if I'm going to be indexing these at any point or organizing them by title or by number of card. I did want to make it easy for me to know how many cards were used, so that's why you can see that I've put the numbers in the side. 3 cards that one takes. So I suppose I could do that. You know, I haven't gotten very far in this. This is as far as I am. These still need to be colored with the highlighters. But in the meantime, I thought I would kind of share what I'm doing, how it's working. So if you are organizing your tarot spreads in a way that's interesting, I would love if you would share that. Maybe you already have shared how you organize your tarot spreads. You know, you have a question about, feel free to ask me a question or leave a comment below. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.